You're watching Service Drive, exclusively on CBT News.
If your online schedule is underperforming or your customers think that your pricing isn't competitive, you're leaving money and loyalty on the table. Joining us today is Frank Eckert, who's the president of Eckert Solutions Group, to walk us through why this happens and his recommendations for how to fix it. So, Frank, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. You are a first-timer, as we say here at CBT News. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule there, helping dealers across the country and their fixed ops departments to answer some of these questions. So let's start with the guest experience. From your perspective, what are the most common breakdowns in the service drive that cause dealers to lose a guest, and how can teams prevent them?
Yeah, I think it comes down to transparency, right? Whether it's transparency online at the scheduler or transparency after we've scheduled that appointment. I think the biggest shortcomings we have truly is in price and time. At the end of the day, there's only two things a guest really cares about: how much and how long is it going to take.
That's
if
right.
you can answer those two fundamental questions,
right.
50% of your problem is solved.
That's right. The coffee is nice, and it's nice that it's Starbucks and you got croissants, or you've got, a room for me to handle my laptop, and that's all good, but you're exactly right. How much and how fast, and sometimes when it's in the luxury division, it's how fast and then how much, right?
Truthfully, yeah. And then that transparency side where what I was told on the scheduler or what I was told on the phone doesn't match when I show up to the service drive.
That's right. What steps can dealers take to increase online scheduling usage from the 25 to 35% range?
Yeah, so it comes down to clicks, right? I mean, it's 2025. We're in an Amazon age. We are.
Yeah.
Guests sitting at a stoplight can actually order. They can order that specific something that they wanted off of Amazon in literally 30 seconds. Where our dealers seem to struggle is that one, landing on the landing page. Is there an easy button to schedule service? I know the sales side of the house dominates, right? But service needs their spot. But then once in the scheduler, what we do know is that most guests usually back out by the third click in the scheduler. And it comes down to two very important things. Do you have a price for the service in which I'm requesting? Mm-hmm. More importantly, do you have a description which backs up that particular price?
Yeah, that's right. I went to a website recently, a dealer, a friend of mine, and he said, hey, take a look at my website. There's different things in there. I want to get your input. Well, when you came to the website, it had the dealer's logo, his logo for the dealer group up there, and then it had sales or service. That's all it was. It was just sales or service. Now, we know we got F&I and used cars, and maybe we got a body shop or what have you. He doesn't have a body shop, but he said, here's how clear I want to make it. If you are looking for sales, it's going to take you to all things sales related without any service on there at all. Maybe a button somewhere that says, oh, by the way, if you click this wrong and you want service here. But I thought that was kind of cool, because it was the only reason you were coming to that website, was you either wanted information on a car, new or used, prices, payments, whatever, or you wanted to schedule service or get information on service, the hours, the location, what have you. What's your thought about something like that if somebody comes to a website?
100%, right? And the other reality is guess where your guest is 90% of the time. They're doing it on a smart device.
That's right.
So I've got less screen, I've got big thumbs, right? So I got to make it easy to know where I'm going to click, 100%. And I think at the end of the day, the guest, again, if you believe in the only care about how much and how long, one thing none of us can buy is time. And if it's convenient and easy, the guest will use it.
That's right. That's right. Competitive versus affordable, and what the decline, really means. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so one of the things we like to really look at is myself as an ex-service platform manager. I used to hide behind competitive, right? Frank, how are our alignments? Boss, we're competitive, I promise you. The only thing competitive allows you to do is be $10 more than anybody in the city. Now, look, from a dealership perspective, that nice, beautiful sign at the curb says we can ask more than Pete's Automotive. I completely get that. But at the same time, you've got to look at that threshold, because sometimes we find ourselves inching up on that price and we push ourselves over. One of the easiest things we do is look at the take rate, or what we say is the yes rate. How many guests are saying yes to the particular service? If the answer is, I don't think enough, then there's only two reasons. It's not affordable, or I'm not very good at advising why the guest needs that. And I'd bet at most dealers, we're pretty decent at advising. Usually what pushes us over is that competitive versus affordable.
Right, that's right, that's right. And in both of those areas, should we be empowering our people in service, whether it be a service advisor who's usually on the phone with the guest, should we be empowering them to negotiate on any of those numbers, or are you going down a very slippery slope?
So one thing I will tell you is if there is a coupon, an offer, it's the seasonal special, man, lead with that. Lead with that. Everybody loves a deal. So for us, even if the guest never visited our special page on the website, didn't notice the sign in the lounge that said, we've got our seasonal special, as an advisor, you talk about power.
Yeah.
Going, hey, Mr. Eckert, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we actually have that particular service for $79.95. It's normally $99.95 because it's our seasonal special. That's an instant credibility, transparency, and you're going to get the yes.
That's right. And it's the associate helping out the customer to say, hey, I don't know if you know it, like you just said, but I can save you money built right in here. And I didn't have to tell you about that necessarily. But I do think that maybe we should be empowering these people to, especially if they bring something up. And I know some dealerships say, oh, we'll meet any advertised price on these particular items. I don't know that service advisors or the individuals on the phone are going down that road. Sometimes they're just, hey, sorry, it didn't meet your budget. Bye-bye. Talk to you later, right?
Well, I can tell you one thing that we like to see is Mr. Johnson, I am authorized if it will help you, I can provide you with 10% off, 8% off, whatever it is to help it work out. One of the things we like is, especially if it's a safety concern, so brakes, tires, those sorts of things. I don't know that I'd use it on wiper blades, but on some of those maintenance type safety issues, allowing the guest to say, Mr. Eckert, I'd sure hate to see you leave with the brakes this low. How about I do an employee rate this one time because we'd like to see you leave safe. You just did two things. You just connected emotionally with that guest. You cared about their safety, and it gives you a chance. Look, at the end of the day, if I'm a service manager, I'm going to roll that out, and then I'm just going to watch it by ASM, manage the outliers. Right.
And because I've spoken to some service advisors before that said, I feel like I lost the deal or lost the customer on maybe a few dollars on whether it be a tune-up or whatever the case might be. When in reality, and I know that if you lost that customer, you also lost the capability or the availability to do a walk around on the car once that customer comes in. So you give up a little bit here on the front, but then when they come in, you go, oh, I didn't know the car needed all these other things, and the customer drives out $2,000 later, right?
Yep. Yeah, 100% agree. And I think, again, the ASM is in front of that guest. They're the one that's working that relationship. They're carrying it. The other sad reality is if it turns into a no based on either the diagnostics of the concern or from an MPI, someone's going to put a part on that car.
Yeah.
The question is it going to be you?
That's right. Let's talk about AI for a second. Obviously, we're just 60 days outside of NADA or somewhere like that. But and obviously probably every single exhibit out there, except maybe CBT News, will be talking about their AI capabilities. And it plays a huge role in fixed ops, as we know, whether it be for outbound calls to customers that have got declined service things that they said, I don't want it right now, but give me a call later. Nobody's usually calling on those things. But whether it be for that or whether it be for a safety feature or a safety recall or what have you. And then, of course, on the incoming calls that are coming into a dealership, I placed a call into my dealership for my car, and it was handled by AI. And I was extremely impressed with it. And I thought, wow, this is great. Picked it up on the first ring, got me right to what I wanted to do in terms of scheduling. And I was very, very impressed with it. They sent me immediately both an email and a text message to my phone to confirm it, to have it so that I could put it in my schedule. I was very impressed with it. I mean, this is the future of the industry, right?
Yeah, no question at all. Look, every time I call to make a credit card payment, it's AI. I've never spoken to a person.
Hands down.
Right? So, Yeah. So it's expected. I think the couple of things about AI that people have to be extremely careful of, but in the end it works well, is you have to manage it. This isn't set it and forget it. It's not Ronco. You still have to manage a little bit. You still have to get it where you want. But the beauty of AI is most of the systems out there will ask you, did we handle this one correctly? And I'm being a little loose here. And you as management get to go yes, and if it's a no, you get to correct it. So over time, there gets to be less and less correction. I think in in the lieu of human capital and being where the guest wants to be when they want to be, you can't beat AI.
Yeah, no question about it. Incidentally, I'll finish my experience on that. I couldn't make the appointment, so I called back to cancel, handled by AI. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I'm very sorry that you've got to cancel, Mr. Fitzpatrick. Let me help you with that right away. Would you like for us to give you a call back to schedule? Do you want to do that right now? I said, no, let's do it right now. I can do Saturday, at 10 a.m. You just can't. No problem. Reconfirm. They resent me I mean, this is really cool stuff because, as we all know, if somebody wants to schedule service on a Sunday, they want to schedule it at 2 o'clock in the morning because they're working on a project or whatever, and say, "Oh, I got to get my car in." This is a whole new era that we're in, especially right now with everybody being so busy and needing this. We live in a 24-hour cycle.
We do,
right?
and again, it's back to meeting the guest where they want to be met.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yep.
So for your clients that are out there, and I know you work with a ton of them across the country, what are you telling What are you telling your dealers, your clients, your partners to really focus on in the first quarter of 2026? But then, as the year progresses, what are some of the themes that you really want them to drill down on?
Absolutely. So for us, it's retaining the guests they have and re-inviting back the guests that they've lost for whatever reason. But in that first quarter, it's really about synergy, getting everybody in the dealership, not just parts, not just service, not just sales, everybody in the dealership pulling in the same direction. And for the stores we're working on, it's a consistency in action. We're continuing to work on that guest experience. Because look, at the end of the day, if you can satisfy the price and the time, the rest of it is just how you and I interact in that first 15 seconds of you showing up on my service drive or the first 10 seconds of that phone call when you call in. It's all about, again, being transparent with that guest and helping them. Look, at the end of the day, we've got to get faster in our maintenance side of the house. So in the express maintenance side, we've got to get better. We've got to continue to drive that speed. There's way too many competitors out there that the guest has to choose from, right?
That's right.
So if we wanted to keep coming back to us, people that have money don't have time.
That's right. And please don't send me, I've talked about this before many times, please don't send me an invitation to come back to your service center to fix my 2017 BMW that I traded in at your dealership for a newer one, 3 years ago, all right?
Yep.
I don't need that kind of mail. I don't need that kind of email. I don't need that kind of text message for that matter.
Yep.
It's all about, we live in a data world right now, but it's all about keeping that data clean so that you're communicating with that customer and you're not, pissing them off basically, right?
Yeah, and I think there's two sides of that coin. One side is on the service drive, interacting with that guest. Jim, you've been my client for 7 years and I'm an ASM. I'm still going to confirm, are you still on Main Street, right? I'm still going to confirm that. Two reasons. One, that's money spent. So if you did move and we just never talked about it, I'm sending postcards, mailers to your house that are getting rejected that I'm spending. More importantly, backing yourself up with data cleansing, whether that data cleansing is on the manufacturer side, whether that data cleansing is on your marketing side, which they do a phenomenal job verifying where Mr. Johnson lives currently, right? So getting with a marketer that can help you in that aspect as well. But again, I'll give you one more on your comment. One thing that I'm always nervous about is dealers that are inviting you back and maybe you're lost or orphaned, depending on what your manufacturer calls it. The harder part there is reminding you why you quit coming, right? So if we're going to bring somebody back, we got to make that experience right.
That's right. No question about it. Frank Eckert, president of Eckert Solutions Group. Thank you so much for joining us. And now it's your first time, and it was easy, and it was great. And
this was awesome.
You're going to be back again. That's for sure. So Frank, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a nice holiday season. If I don't speak with you, but till next time, stay well.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks for watching Service Drive, exclusively on CBT News.